Hello, welcome to Paradise London Fan TV. Ali here, and I am back in the most anticipated return since the Steps reunion. And I will be bringing you my match review of the game against Leeds United at the Opus Stadium in Australia. I have dusted off the gnome, and I will be bringing you Palace content for the 22-23 season. But let's start at that game against Leeds in pre-season, which I paid about 20 quid for from Palace players. I do question my sanity sometimes with this football club to watch a pre-season game against Leeds United. Most important thing is all the players seem to come through without injury, which is the biggest positive against dirty Leeds. And it was an okay encounter, I suppose. But let's start with the tour in general, because it's been an interesting pre-season, hasn't it, with half the squad in England and half the squad on the tour. And there's been a lot of questions of the merits of that and whether we should have done it. Listen, I don't think it's ideal. If you start with the fact that most of the back four are on this tour, and then you got Mark Gahey at home, one of our biggest problems last season was defending set pieces. So how are we meant to be working on that as a unit with Gahey at home? So it isn't ideal. At the same time, the way the club has spun it a little bit is a lot of the more players are getting game time, which is positive. So you think the whole squad will be fit and raring to go for the first day against Arsenal. Also, it has been an incredible opportunity for our academy players. And today we saw Ozo get a game, who I thought grew into the game in the second half. And other players like Raksaki, again, getting a really good opportunity today. And the younger players who we brought in, such as the Malcolm from Derby, who's looking really, really good. So it's been a massive opportunity for academy players and more names than the ones I've mentioned. So there have been positives to it as well. But, you know, I don't think as a fan you can argue it. If you're a fan like myself, and we'll come on to transfers in a bit, who wants signings and wants the club to spend money on signings to improve the squad, then you can't really argue against the club doing something that's good for commercial revenue, and that is going to bring in revenue streams and also just expose the club more. You know, I mean, there was videos of Parish with Australian Palace supporters and things like that, and growing the club in that way. So lots of positives to it. And I think in modern football, you have to accept it. So let's come on to the game itself. It was a bit of a disjointed affair, really, in the first half. And I think that really comes down to our central midfield pairing of Luka Milivojevic and David Oza. Milivojevic, listen, I think for me personally, his time at Palace needs to come to an end. He's been a good servant for Palace. He had a couple of really good years with us. And I don't like to sit here and criticise him as such, but I just think sometimes it's time for a player to move on. And I think that will happen if Vieira gets the second central midfielder he clearly wants. We know that we had a signing of Flynn Downs that we just missed out on, with West Ham usurping us at the last minute. So it's clear Vieira wants a second central midfielder. I think as soon as Vieira, if he does get the second central midfielder in, I think then you will possibly see Luka Milivojevic. So I've got to be honest, do I want to see Luka Milivojevic in a Palace shirt playing in the Premier League next season? No, I don't. For me, he was, again today, too slow on the ball, too ponderous, not playing the right balls. He just looks a bit off the pace and not really of the passing ability that I think you need in the way that Vieira wants to play. So for me, Luka, I think beyond this tour, I think we might be seeing the end of his time at Crystal Palace. David Oza, he did okay. He grew into the game in the second half. I thought the positive for us today in this game was the players going forward on the break. I thought Edouard had a good game, cutting in at times. And, you know, you have to remember he played very well on that left-hand side, filling in for Wilfred Zaha when he was on African nations duty. And really, it was harsh that he then was put out the side and never really returned. And he had a really good game today. He had a couple of good breaks on the counter. And, you know, I think that's fantastic for us as a club and for the team, that even someone like Wilfred Zaha has someone ready to step into his position that can only be good for competition for places. I thought Jordan Ayew had a really good game. You know, he must be so annoying to play against. He's such a pest, such a nuisance. He draws so many fouls, and he did very, very well on the break to the goal. Really good counter, showed brilliant composure to play the ball to Mateta, and Mateta put it away. And that's only going to do Mateta good, give him confidence going into the season. Goals breed confidence. At the moment, I thought Mateta, he did well in the first half. I think he was linking play quite nicely. I think he can go missing sometimes, but I think it's clear that that's who Vieira sees leading the line, and that's who I expect to see leading the line against Arsenal. But I would say as well, I thought Jordan Ayew, as I said, had a good game, and I think with Elise not yet playing and not sure what's going on there, whether it's still an injury thing, I would expect to see Jordan Ayew starting against Arsenal in a couple of weeks' time. Man of the match, though, for me was Nathaniel Clyne. Clyne's an interesting one, isn't he? I don't think he gets spoken about in terms of as a signing, as a bit of business. To get him back on a free, and what we've done as a football club is almost we've rebuilt his career. We've got him fit again after all his injury problems against Liverpool, and we've now got a 31-year-old player who's really got a few years in him, with great pedigree, who's got England caps. And just watching him today, I think he pocketed Harrison in the first half, and he has, you know, really grown in the last year with us, and he just seems composed. His defending today was really good, very efficient, and at the moment the right back spot has to be his for me. I know we'd be bringing in Chris Richards, who's a centre back from Bayern Munich, who can also play right back, but for me at the moment Clyne starts against Arsenal, and I don't see any reason as to why he shouldn't. So one of the real kind of positives that can kind of go under the radar a bit, Nathaniel Clyne, but his second spell at Palace is starting to really grow into a good one. So that was my man of the match, Nathaniel Clyne. The referee was absolutely awful. I would genuinely rather they got Carl Kennedy in from Ramsey Street. The penalty, to be honest, in pre-season was just utterly hilarious. Really, you had to laugh at it. There were some bookings before that which shouldn't have been given out. It was quite funny, really, because obviously the game means nothing, but it was fantastic to see Vieira having a go at him. It just shows what a winner Vieira is. He wants to win every single match, and it's really excited to be going into the season with him still as our manager. But great to be back. I'm feeling positive. I think the signings that we've made so far have been good. I'm looking forward to seeing Decore tomorrow at QPR. I will be there at Loftus Road, and I will be doing a review of that. So check out that one, and more Palace content to come. As always, if you have liked this video, press the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what you thought if you watched the game today. What about signings? Do we need more? If you think we do, where should we be strengthening in the squad? Let me know in the comments. And as always, press that subscribe button.